Hi, Fashion Dolls. It is Wednesday, March 15th, and welcome to an all new episode of Style by Stevie. Our very special guest today is a 13 award winning actor. He's won 13 awards, Fashion Dolls, and he's went on to do so much with his career. Born and raised in Jackson, Tennessee, I'm super excited to have him here in the dollhouse. All right, Fashion Dolls, are you guys loving the look today? I hope you guys are all loving today's look. Pink on top of pink on top of pink. I wanted to do something a little bit different. So without further ado, let's welcome our very special guest, ladies and gentlemen, John Thomas. Let me go ahead and share this live so that we can get him in here. All right. Happy Wednesday, you guys. Make sure that we are good. All right. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our very special guest, John F. Thomas. Hello.
Hey, how's it going? Hear me?
Welcome to the dollhouse. How are you?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Wonderful. It is such a pleasure to have you here.
Yeah,
So
good.
before we get to this interview, how has 2023 been for you thus far?
2023 has been amazing. I can't even complain. It has been very beautiful with the projects that I was able to come in on, to leave in 2022, the projects to come in on. My family is still in great health. Friends are still doing great. And a lot of amazing opportunities and projects and things for me to be working on and to be seeking. It's just been a great. It was my birthday a few days ago, so it's been a great year. I can't complain.
Yeah. Okay, so you were born and raised in Jackson, Tennessee. It's a lot of talent that comes from there. Luther Ingram, who's one of my favorite singers, was born and raised there. And you grew up around a lot of just flourishing talent. So let's go way back when. Tell us at what age did you say, okay, this is something that I want to do?
It might have started when I was in elementary school, as far as acting goes, So I remember fifth grade, we were like reading this book, like the books they have, they have everybody take turns. You read a paragraph, you read a paragraph. But there was like this one story where they broke it up almost like a play. And, it's like, oh, this person is Cindy, that person is Ty, this person. And I thought, I'm like, oh, this is interesting. I was like, oh, I can, it's kind of like how my parents read to me. I can bring this to life. So that intrigued me, but I never really knew I wanted to do anything with that. Both sides of my family sung, so I eventually wanted to be a singer. Once I was like, I think 15, I wrote my first song, and my biggest influences, one of them were Marvin Gaye. So I just loved the way he just crooned just effortlessly on the song. The music was so it just oozed, and you just fell in love with the story he was telling. And I wrote my first song at 15, and because like I said, I was constantly singing in church and around my family. Every time we gathered together, we were singing. We had to sing before we left. So this is my dad's side and my mom's side. And I wanted to create that same feeling where I, wrote something. I just made people feel, basically, at the core of that. Fast forward to senior year in high school, I had some time to just kind of, free time. I didn't have to take any hard classes because, I wanted to relax. But I had the opportunity to audition for this play. And I was just like, you know what? Like, why not? So I did that. And the director was just like, is this your first time acting? And I was just like, well, yeah. And she was just like, wow, you're good for this to be your first time. And that really was the true beginning of like, okay, maybe I can do this. And it's just been that slow process of finally getting into acting, because for the most part it was always music. It was wanting to be a singer songwriter, wanted to be the next big thing. But I saw how the music industry was going and how they were like treating its artists and devaluing the music heavily, heavily, heavily. And once I came out here to LA, I it opened up a whole new world to me where it's just like, oh, I can work on this project and actually get paid for my work instead of like as a singer, oh, go and sing at these places and bring all these people and not really get any money, for the hard work I was doing. So both are very hard to do, but I saw just a greater sense of respect, at least at least on the side of being an actor, and I just love being able to portray these different characters, bring them to life, and constantly talk with people about these things and the projects because we constantly see these big movies, and I always saw myself being on these movies. I saw myself being interviewed like I am now. So thank you for helping bring that to fruition. And yeah, it's that's basically where how that originated.
And with that being said, what are some skills that you've learned at your time writing music? Because you started very young, at 15 years old, and that's how young most artists that start off in the business, even some of the greats, Aretha Franklin, Brandy, a lot of them started off in the church. So, what is some advice that your parents have given you along the way that have helped you and shifted you and molded you into your career now?
And one of the things like my dad definitely told me when I was younger, he was just like, hey, I mean, he just kept it real. He was like, you getting into this field, it's not going to be easy. So he's like, you might not hit right off, because a lot of people, it takes them a while to hit. So he was just like, just know this is going to be tough. So yeah, I think initially I almost took it as like, man, not that my dad is hating on me, but I was able to quickly see as he kept talking. I was just like, well, yeah, he's right. But at the time, I was sitting there thinking like, no, man, I'm gonna hit sooner. I'm gonna hit immediately. I'm gonna get out there, and, and within the first 2 years, 3 years, I'm gonna. No, that didn't happen. But the beautiful thing about that is that it taught me patience. It made me become humble, even more humble, because I felt like, especially for me and for some people, when we see how it happens with a lot of people who
Yeah.
success comes extremely fast, like almost seemingly overnight. And it's a lot to take in, it's a lot to absorb and to deal with. So I'm actually glad that this process has been going the way that it has been going, so that way I can appreciate the journey more, and I'm not so swayed by the lights and the glitz and the glamour so much. I want to stay humble, and if I can help somebody else, that's what I want to do. It's not just about me. I want to help others because both of my parents, they're like that. In other ways, they taught me, even with all the success that they've had, to continuously help others. It's not just about you. It's constantly, because what's the point if you're just hoarding everything for yourself, all the resources, all the knowledge, everything, without giving back to your community, without giving back to someone else? Because that's what it's all about. But also, sorry, and lastly, to get to what writing music, the thing that taught me is to make it relatable and to make sure that you're connecting with your audience, and whether that's something that's realistic for you or realistic for somebody else, just connect with the audience and try to build that relationship with them. And so that's what writing music at that early age has taught me. And to be honest in how you express yourself and how you portray whatever it is you're portraying when you are on stage, in public, in person. And yeah, it's just a beautiful journey for me.
I love what you just said, which is remaining humble, because I realized that getting into this business, my mom taught me the same thing as well too. She said, never always say a prayer, never forget where you came from and the ones who helped you get to where you're at. Because I said this yesterday on the show, just as fast as you got the position to where you're at, you can lose it in an instant. So staying true to yourself and originality is key. And this is what I said when I had Devon Tatum on the show yesterday. We were talking about staying true to yourself, self-care, mental health awareness. And sometimes even for me, the bigger this platform has gotten for me is overwhelming. Me being this
Hmm.
talk show host, people starting to give you recognition and things like that. It's overwhelming. I'm just like, wait, oh my God. I, didn't realize I've had that much of an impact. So I'm
Yeah.
just taken aback from it. So let's fast forward here. You took the move from Jackson, Tennessee, your hometown where you were born and raised, to now move to Los Angeles. What is it like having to go from your hometown and now you're on your own? You're starting your career as an actor. What was your parents' thoughts on that from you doing that shift from starting off in the church, writing your own music at 15 years old, to now going to Los Angeles?
And my mom was afraid for me, and rightfully so, because I don't have any family out here. Like my mom didn't have any family. My dad, there was nobody that they can call. I didn't have an uncle like, hey, watch out, for your nephew. Make sure he's okay, or auntie or anything like that to check in on me. So that was and moving basically on the other side of the continent. It's not just let's get in a car and we'll be there in 3 hours, kind of thing. So she was very concerned, just that to make sure that I was okay and that everything was going to be all right. I was her youngest, so um, and I appreciate the love and the concern that they had for me, but that just cemented in me. And they also said, like, hey, if it doesn't go well, you can always come back. So I appreciated that, but that pushed me to, like, I need to make sure that I stay out here. I need to make sure that if anything, I can be out here and continue pushing for my dreams. Because I knew two other people that came out here. One lasted for 1 month, another person lasted for 3, and they both moved back. And so I learned off of what they did wrong, where they made their mistakes, and I just prepared like crazy. But coming out here, it was tough. It was tough. It was just me and my best friend. He didn't have any family out here. Thankfully, I had him, but our schedules were so off from each other that it was hard to even just talk to him at times, because I would be working at night and he would be working during the day. So when I was up, he was asleep, and when he was up, I was asleep. So it's not like I could even vent or share my concerns or my worries freely with him because of the schedules being so off. But it definitely forced me to, you know, step up and just face that fear, face that being out here by myself. Because, being from the South too, there's a big community, but being in LA, it's very isolated, so everybody, the people are nice, but there's no, hey, even if somebody was trying to break into my car right now, only maybe a few people in my apartment complex would know, like, hey, that's not his car, but everybody else, they just kind of mind their own business. And that is a stark difference. So, but it's been tough, and it's been a hard process, especially talking to people. Like I said, they're nice, but there's not a lot of genuine people out here, because a lot of people are very selfish. They're only thinking about themselves. They'll use you to get what there's a lot of sharks. There are a lot of sharks out here. So I had to basically learn how to fend for myself. There's some times where I was taken advantage of, but I learned from that, and now I'm very protective of myself, and I'm just aware, cautious, but it's been a rough journey, but I was able to navigate through that. But yeah, not without a lot of bumps and bruises, but I'm here. I'm good.
Yes. Let me see. I think we have a question for you. Shout out to my fraternal Island Yankee. He wants to know, was your parents saying if it doesn't work out, you can come back and push you to make it work?
Yeah, they were saying if it didn't work out, that I can always come back. They were basically they're amazing parents that I can always have a place back there with them. No matter how old I am, it's just the loving parents that they are. But that did push me, because I knew I had that safety net. But also growing up, I saw so many people who had potential. I mean, I was working with other people. It's like, oh man, I could have done this, I could have done that. and they never took the chance. Or it's a, and as I'm sure you know, it's a lot of people that we see that we're around that are amazingly talented. And because of them not taking a chance, them not taking a risk, or the people who have taken a risk, they immediately came back because they didn't prepare enough, for what potentially could come. Like you can't prepare for everything, that's unrealistic. But what you potentially can, but that's why I try to, like those two people I said that moved out here, I try to watch what they did and I learned from what they did. And I was just like, okay, I don't want to do that. And, I made sure I had like two or three different job opportunities when I came out here. I transferred from one job to another job out here, but I was like, just in case it comes, I start the job so late or it doesn't even happen, I have another job lined up. And if that doesn't happen, I have another job lined up. So I just wanted to make sure I had, all these, backups, because like I said, I was out here all by myself. But yeah, that did push me to not want to have to rely on my parents. I relied on them so much, but now it's like I need to spread my wings. I need to show that I can do this. And I know a lot of people try to do this, and it's tough. But I wanted to prove not really to them, but to myself that I can do this and I can make it happen. Boy from small town Jackson, Tennessee, I can come out there and make it happen.
And that you did. You went on to pursue acting and singing, and you studied voice acting under Janet Wilcox,
Hmm.
and you took voice lessons under legendary singer John Davies. Tell us what was those two experiences like?
And it was an amazing experience. Both opened up a lot of new ideas for me, new connections, especially with the voiceover class. I took it at a UCLA extension class, and I met some amazing people, and that showed me. I mean, because you're watching TV and the cartoons, and I can mimic a voice, but that showed me like how hard it was, and like the layers to do voice acting. And it's just like, oh, it's not just I'm gonna just go and do a voice. No, it's like you really have to like treat that as a professional job. Is that like if a contractor comes and they're not just gonna I'm gonna hit the hammer on this thing and somehow fix it. No, they have to know exactly what they're doing.
Right.
And the same thing with voiceover. And with John Davies, he's such an amazing person. At that point in time, I think I was kind of feeling down on myself, and I knew I could sing, but I was listening to like the wrong people. And I talked with him, and he basically helped lift me back up. And he was like, "No, you're an amazing singer. You're really good. Help build that confidence back in me." And especially with me being out here by myself, like I said, I didn't have that community around me to help lift me back up, to help block out the noise. But he stepped in to help block that noise out. And basically was like, focus. Like, you need to focus. You can sing. I wouldn't take you in if you couldn't sing. And he was like, I don't waste my time on people who aren't worth wasting time on. So that just really filled me up, and God bless him for that and coming in and help refilling up my glass. So it was an amazing experience singing with him. That actually he made me a better singer because I've sung under a lot of people, but he just elevated me that much higher. It was like learning all over again. Emptying my cup so that he can pour more back in, and I became a better performer after that. So some stuff that like my voice would kind of go out after learning with him. My voice doesn't go out anymore, and so and that's a common thing for a lot of people. But yeah, I mean, that was an amazing experience. So I'm very thankful to have had those opportunities.
I'm going to read some comments here. Let me scroll up, make sure I didn't miss anything. Genuine souls are rare out here, big facts. In Los Angeles, yes, it's so hard to find people that are willing to help you behind the scenes and
Yeah.
give you that encouragement. And this is important to have a solid support circle
Oh yeah.
around you 100%. I give thanks to Island Yankee and K Toops for definitely giving me that boost and that push and just checking to make sure that I'm okay and make sure that I'm good. Those are people that I'm thankful for within my circle. And it pays to have those type of people that can give you that tap on the shoulder and just that motivation and encourage to keep going.
Exactly.
It
Yeah.
definitely helps a lot. Now, you began studying extensively under improv. So I know that must be challenging. So tell us, what are some pointers that you could give to actors out here that are studying under improv?
Just go with the flow, like surrender yourself to the moment. Whenever you're doing improv, a lot of it, the base is yes and. it's, it's funny. It seems like a simple enough premise, but let's say you and I were in this, sorry, in this scene together, and I just say, "Hey, big sis," or something like that, and then you're just like, "No, I'm not your sis. I'm your cousin," and it's like, okay, I established that you're my sister. So instead of saying yes and, you said no, this instead. So that is one of the easiest things to mess up, in improv. But I mean, it's basically like just, it's. I think when we grow up, a lot of us lose the the wonder of play, because we're even like I remember, like my mom. I mean, she doesn't mess with me about it now, but I mean, she'll just joke with me about it. But it's like, you still watching cartoons, and it's just like, well, yeah. I mean, because the world is tough out there, and I just need something, to bring me joy. I don't want to just grow up and
Yeah,
throw away all. I got to be a serious adult, and nothing's fun anymore. It's just like, who wants to do that, So, and there's a lot of miserable people out there who have done that, So if I can balance that. Like when it's time to be serious and mature and all of that, I'm definitely that. But when it's time to just let loose and have fun and be silly, I want to do that too. Which is why a lot of us, when we get around kids remind us, they're like, oh yeah, these things I was just upset about, it's not even that serious, or wow, they were just able to just play and just be. I forgot how to do that. And we all need each other, like, to kind of remember and do that. So that's why, like, with improv, I love doing improv. It's constantly challenging you to uh just challenge yourself and free yourself and allow yourself to be silly, even if you look stupid. Who cares? Everybody's looking stupid up there. But it's fun. It's very fun. And I think we try to control so many things in life, even things we can't control. That's why we get frustrated. So the beautiful thing about improv, it challenges you to let go. Just let go, whatever the situation is, let it be, and thrive in it, and overcome it. So hopefully
absolutely.
that helps.
100%. Now we're going to fast forward here because you are a 13-time award winner and you've won your multi-award winning short film, Emotical. So tell us a little bit about that. Now stepping out on your own, stepping out on faith, writing, directing, producing. What is that experience like for you?
That experience has been it's been amazing because I've always imagined myself doing doing something in film, and also like in being a part of this collaborative creative process, but I never knew really to what capacity. But thankfully for people like Viola Davis, for people like Tyler Perry, for the many more, even the people I've recently connected with, Bobby and Renee Peoples, those who create their own, who don't wait for somebody else to say, oh, this person they have something, let
Yeah,
me give them a chance. Because especially as a black person, which I know you already know, it's like a lot of people don't, they only see you as this. You're in this small box. We only see, oh, you're the best friend to the white lead. You are the you're the urban person. Oh, we need somebody urban, which is street or whatever. And or we see some of these black actors, they're constantly playing detectives, police officers, detectives. But other than that, you don't see them playing the lead romantic interest. You don't see them playing the hero to save the world. You don't see them playing the wide emotion ranging human being that they are. Just having a world around them. Because typically when we see black people, we're angry, loud, ratchet, like ignorant, all this stuff that the media constantly tries to portray us as, but we're so much more than that. So, upon creating this short film, A Motor Call, because I noticed that with these sci-fi genres or fantasy stories, we're often relegated to supporting roles if that, if they decide to include us. But for the most part, Lord of the Rings, if you look at Lord of the Rings, there's no black person in there, which, like, I could be mad about that, but that's fine. That's their story. But we also have our own culture. We have a deep culture in Africa. We have, there's so many stories that we could tell on a fantasy level stemming from Africa. It's just like, so why don't we see things like that? Or why don't we see black people in space saving the world? Saving the galaxy and things. Like even John Boyega in Star Wars, the recent trilogy of movies, they tricked us with the marketing. It made it seem like, oh, he's going to be a Jedi, he's going to be the new, and then they quickly relegated him to like, no, he's just going to chase after the lead actress, which is who's white, and which is like the best friend to the white person. He's going to pine after her. She's not going to return those feelings. And yeah, he's going to help her save the world, but he's not going to be the lead. And, I just got tired of seeing that. So, like I said, thanks to Viola Davis, because she created a Leela and Eve, I believe, which was her and Jennifer Lopez, that movie, which
Yeah.
showed her in the leading role, because otherwise she was playing like slave roles and stuff like that. But after she did that, they saw that, oh, she can actually do more. Oh, she can be the leading character. Oh, okay. All right, I think I could see her in this project because she showed, yeah, I can do that. So that's what I wanted to do with Immortal Call, to not only create a story that showcases black people saving and being heroes, but also that, yeah, I can play the leading character in a sci-fi genre with a leading black cast, all black cast. So that's what I loved about that. And I'm just very thankful that it resonated with a lot of people. And a lot of people really loved watching it. And they keep asking me, oh, is there going to be more? Is there going to be more? So I'm definitely working on that as we speak.
And the push for diversity continues. There's an issue in the entertainment business with Black actors, Black filmmakers, Black writers to get noticed. There
Yeah.
is definitely an issue. And you must have watched yesterday's show because I talked about this with Devon about how they typecast. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the word of the day, typecast Black actors into specific roles. They
Oh,
only
yeah.
want you to play, okay, the drug dealer. They want you to play the thug type bouncer, something in that arena.
Yeah.
And for me, a Black woman, I get casted as the baby mama if I was to act or do anything. It's always a stereotypical role of
Yeah.
how they see it. They would not like to see us in positions of power. Whereas now you have Black Lightning, you have Black Panther, all of these Black superheroes in the fantasy universe that are now coming to fruition. That is representation.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad for directors like yourself and so many others to showcase people that look like us. Because even for our children that are watching out here, they're going to turn on the TV. Now we have the first Black mermaid, the first Black Ariel.
Right.
That's never happened. Never happened in a million
Yeah.
years. And now we're seeing this shift and push for so much diversity to happen within the entertainment business of filmmaking.
Yeah.
So continue. And this is why I created my platform to give up and coming Black creators a voice because I know how hard it is. And I was devastated at Angela Bassett's Oscar snub. I was devastated.
Yeah.
So this is why we're doing what we're doing to prevent that, to showcase that there
Yeah.
is so much of us in numbers. We can
Yeah.
do it all. We can direct, we can write, we can produce, we can
Mm.
star in, we can do all of that. And speaking of starring in, you've went to star in some hit films, Reunion of the Champions, which is now available on Tubi and Amazon. And you got your supporting role in feature film Arranged Marriage. That's how the world and I got introduced to you, which is available on Amazon and Apple Plus. You guys can go and check it out. So definitely go and check that out as well too. And you have an upcoming film as well, Memoirs of a Vixen. Ooh, it sounds scandalous, yo.
It's
Which
very,
should be
very
coming to
scandalous.
in the spring. So you guys stay tuned for that. So what is it like? Out of all the projects that I just named, which one has to be a very special place to your heart? Which one holds a very special place to your heart?
I would say that's tough because I want to say Reunion of Champions, but I would have to say Memoirs of a Vixen because that definitely challenged me in a sense to where the character that I played is completely opposite of who I am. Because in regular everyday life, I'm, confident. I'm very chill, casual. I'm a people person. A lot of people tend to like me. So, but with this character, he's kind of, to himself. He's very selfish. Um, and he has this kink, so where this character, he's a cuckold, I believe. So, and he wants to see his wife, have sex with other men. So, for me in my personal life, I was just like, oh no, no, that's definitely not happening. No, like that's mine, brother. Get your own, So, so I was like, no, I'm not. So I had to, but I immediately had to shut that down and say, okay, why? Why does this person want to do this? And I did my research, and I just looked up, the lifestyle of that and how people. Actually, and it's funny. My friend was just talking to me about. I think at the time that his cousin was like playing, music. He's in a band, and this guy came up and was just like, "Hey, would you be interested in having sex with my wife?" And I was just like, "What?" So I was like, "Oh man," I was like, "That's funny because I just got this role." And the people that I met on set, very beautiful. The directors and writers, Bobby and Renee Peoples, I mentioned them earlier.
Yes.
Very beautiful people. They gave me the opportunity to lead in this, and alongside Madison, and it was an amazing experience to challenge me. It was challenging me as an actor. It was challenging me as a person to like, is this really who I am as a person, and how can I portray this person? How can I bring that person out on screen to make it realistic? So it was an amazing experience. Then I went back to the well with them, and we just finished filming another feature film, Deadly Bonds, and that should be coming out this summer or fall. So that should be coming a few months after Memoirs of a Vixen. So I mean, they are working and I'm working, so it's going to be pop 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 pop, projects dropping.
And I've interviewed Juan and Deja
Oh, nice.
from Pimpress, that is also a Bobby and Renee Peoples project.
Yeah,
So you guys you go and check that out as well too. Amazing, amazing, amazing team. Their projects come out effortless. So you guys stay tuned for this one as well. Deadly Bonds and Memoirs of a
hmm
Vixen. Again, just the title sounds scandalous itself. So you guys have to tune in. We can't reveal a whole lot, but I know that Bobby and Renee have definitely been busy. They have been writing.
yeah,
So you guys make sure you go and follow them and check them out. Now you're always staying busy. How do you find the balance with in between the two? How do you find yourself getting out of character? Like, do you leave the character on set, or does it just like, okay, I'm John now. I'm no longer the character.
yeah. Well, before I started, what's going on, Ben? I saw you commented on there. Hey, what's going on, brother? Thanks for watching. So yeah, with the characters, I am in character, but yeah, once the scene stops, I kind of I get back to myself. I guess depending on how challenging of a role it is, because I try to stay focused when I'm on set. I do like to have fun, and I want everybody to feel good around me, but I also try to be professional and stay in that zone. Not to the point to where like I'm talking to everybody in this character, but when a few minutes before it's lights, camera, action, I'm focused. I'm there trying to bring this to life. Where was I before the scene? Where am I going after the scene? All of that stuff. Because that's just for me being professional. I want to bring it, but once it's done, I'm back to me. I'm back to who I am, and I'm glad to let that character go. Just let that be, And actually, it's funny that you mentioned that. I've been, that's one thing I have been trying to focus on, and it's more so of having balance because we can get so caught up in work and all this stuff. It's just like, who are you outside of work? So I've been listening to like a lot of audio books about finding balance. I've been meditating, trying to just more so be in a moment a lot lately. I think, like I said, the other day was my birthday, and typically I would be responding back to all these people that said happy birthday to me, but I was really just trying to be in a moment, really just trying to step away from all the stuff that potentially stresses me out and just be, because either I realize that we as people, we either live too far into the past or too far into the future, but
Amen.
we don't stay in the present because this moment is constantly passing. It's going to become the past. So just be in the moment and you won't have to regret so many things. Like, oh man, actually that was a real special moment. I wish I could have been more present then. And it's just like, you know what? Well, as long as I learn that now, let me practice that now. And just try to be as present in the moment. Like I'm in this moment with you. This is amazing, and I'm loving it. And thank you for bringing me on this show, and thank you for this platform. You didn't have to do this, but you did. And just like you said, you're trying to help all upcoming Black performers and just amazing Black people. Thank you for that. So that's what I've been trying to do. So whenever I get out of these moments, I sit and I think about the things I'm thankful for. Like every morning when I get up, I try to thank God for everything that I'm thankful for because we so quickly shift to like, oh man, I don't have enough money or I don't have enough time or I don't have enough this and that. And yeah, that's there, but like, what are you thankful for? Just like I was saying at the beginning, like I'm thankful my family's in good health, my friends are still here. I have these opportunities. I have this opportunity to speak with you, and we're creating this relationship and connection, and it's amazing, and I'm healthy, so everything is actually good. The pros heavily outweigh the cons that I would have thought about. So
Motion
that's what I try
picture
to do.
star King says, "What's going on, John? Doing it big, my brother."
What's going on, man? Thanks for watching, brother.
Let me see. We got a question for you. When picking roles, do you like roles you know you nail or roles opposite of who you are?
I Actually, the more fun is the ones that are opposite of who I am. I will say. I mean, I would love to definitely get those roles that I know I nail, but the 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 frustration, but also the satisfaction of of trying to find like how do I connect more with this character? How do I the same thing like Memoirs of a Vixen? Because it was funny. Even like some people around me was like, "What doing?" And I just had to block all that out and just focus. It's like this because this character is something that I think that I learned from Meryl Streep when she was saying, "Try not to judge your character," because everybody, even like a person that you don't like personally,
Right.
that it's just like this person is a horrible person. I see the way they treat other people and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But in that person's head, they're not the bad guy. So if I'm going to play this character, I have to, as horrible or as despicable or as opposite of me that this person is, that is who they are. They're not the bad guy in their story. They're the hero. They're
Right.
misunderstood. Everybody else doesn't get them, and they're right, and everybody else is wrong, or whatever the case may be. So that's how I try to approach that when I get those challenging roles. So those are more fun. It's more challenging, but it's more fun.
Now, motion picture star King asked the question. He said, "What's the most challenging role you have played to date, and how did you prepare for that
The most challenging role would be actually I would say, even though I would say this recent one with Memoirs of a Vixen, where I played Dwayne Carter, where it was the husband just having his wife just have sex with other people. One of the other most challenging ones is where I had to play Sammy Davis Jr. And it was in this
role?"
musical
Absolutely.
cabaret. Yeah, and that dude is. he is stupidly talented. I know a lot of people talk about, oh, Frank Sinatra, oh, Frank is the great and all this stuff. But if you really look at Sammy Davis Jr., because when I did my research, this dude can not only sing, but he could, which I knew it, but doing the research, it really dove me in even more. He could sing, he could dance, he could act, he could do impersonations. He was a quadruple threat. And Frank couldn't do all this stuff. Frank could sing, he could act, he couldn't really dance, and Sammy was also really funny, so, and in order to play that role of Sammy Davis Jr. in the musical Cabaret, I had to really study that dude, try to exude that confidence that he had, the swagger that he had, and um, talk in the way that he talked, and that was challenging. That was really challenging, but it was rewarding, and I loved it. And I had heavy doubts going in. It's like, man, can I do this? I don't know if I'm even the right person for this role. But yeah, it was an amazing experience, and I think right behind that is Memoirs of a Vixen, where I played Dwayne Carter, is my most challenging role. But just preparing for that role is just trying to get rid of any reservations that you have, and preparing for it helps get rid of the reservations. But also just learning as much as you can about this character. If you need more information, if it's a new character, not like a real person like Sammy Davis Jr., create your backstory for this character. Who is this? Who are they growing up? Who are they when they're not in these scenes? What do they like? What are they like when they get up in the morning? What are they like when they go to bed? Like all of this stuff can only help, with building this, fleshing this character out. And so that is an amazing process to go through, and very rewarding and very fulfilling. So yeah, when that comes out, I hope you guys like it. I know a lot of people gonna say this is wild and this character's crazy. So hopefully people don't look at this and be like, yeah, that's him. It's like, no, that's not me. No, that means I did a good job if they do so.
Has that ever happened to you where the character has been so believable where people have gotten so mad that they literally think you're your character? Because that happens to a lot of actors.
Yeah, not yet, but I know that with this movie, probably. Because I know Bobby and Renee are going to, especially Bobby, he's going to share some screenshots of what people are saying. Because there is a big Tubi following of people who watch Tubi. So
Yeah.
he was just saying, yeah, I'm gonna make you famous, son. I was just like, okay, all right, here we go. So I welcome that, where people are like, man, no, that's who he is, and that's fine, because I always thought, like, what's the guy's name? Is it Michael Rayner? But anyway, he was on the show The Power. He was the son.
Michael Raymond. Yeah.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
So because he was also in, I think, Barbershop 1 and 2. He's been in a lot of movies, and for the most part he plays this kid who always gets into trouble or who's doing something stupid. So I remember watching a Breakfast Club interview where they were just like, man, people mad at you in real life, and he was just like, yeah, I know, people come up to me and they think I'm really this person. But I welcome that. If I can have these conversations with these people, that's amazing, and that means that I did a good job. So we'll see. I definitely have an answer for you once Memoirs of a Vixen comes out.
All right, and that's in the spring of this year, 2023. So you guys stay tuned. Bobby and Renee Peoples and Deadly Bonds as well too. Now, before we let John go, we're going to get into some games, and then I'm going to hit you guys with the Women's History Month fact for the day and the final thought of the day. All right. So the first game we're going to do is called the Rapid Five. All right. And John has to tell us 5 things he can't live without. It can be his favorite drink, his favorite food, his favorite football team, what he does in his leisure time, whatever it is. And then we're going to do something called Turn the Tables. And this is where my guests get to ask me questions. For the new viewers out there who don't know, because I'm such a fresh new face to some of you and to some of you not. So John's going to ask me as many questions as he wants. And this is the way of breaking the ice and cutting the velvet rope to get to know who Miss Stevie, the talk show host, is. All right. So let's start off with the rapid five. What are 5 things that John can't live without?
Oh man, I hate to say this, but my cell phone.
Okay.
I mean, well, it's because just in case my family needs to get in touch with me, I need to call somebody. Yeah. So I need that. Well, at first I should have said God. I can't live without God because I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for God. So yeah. Man, all glory to Him, and thankful for all these opportunities and me meeting you as well. Um, my family, friends, and movies. It's hard for me to like. I probably could, but it's hard for me to live without watching these movies, which is why I'm in movies. But it's a way for me to escape. I guess movies slash books because I love reading kind of like the similar genres of the movies that I see. Because when I open these books, I can just escape away into this world, and I can be on planet whatever
Right.
or wherever. So yeah, it's a way of escape from me. So those are the things I can't live without. So
All right.
um, you said what? Sorry.
Go ahead. I wasn't saying anything. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, okay. So I guess so. Now I'll go ahead and ask you a question. Go to that portion of
Turn
what.
the
Uh,
tables. Go ahead.
yeah, yeah, what made you want to start doing? Oh, what inspired you to start doing this? To start interviewing rising Black creatives and showcase and shine that light on them. What inspired you and made you want to do that?
Well, I've noticed, shows on certain platforms, there's barely any representation.
Mm,
And black women that are in daytime, I mean, you've got Tamron Hall, you've got Sherry Shepherd, you've got Jennifer
mm,
Hudson, but it's barely any women of color in daytime. It's like three, and then a couple men that are black and in daytime. But I said I want more representation for us, more inclusion, because there's so many filmmakers out here who are doing the work, who are not getting their just due. And I created a platform where everybody who's working on something amazing can come and have their projects and their voice and their stories be told. I'm interested. I've always had a interest in finding out people's story because I believe we all deserve to tell our stories and share them with the world, just so that the next generation coming up can share their stories and work on whatever it is that they want to work on. If they want to get into acting or if they want to get into fashion or beauty or whatever it may be. So that's why I created my platform. So
okay, good. All right, so where I know this is probably a question that maybe some people hate, and hopefully you don't hate it, but where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
I see myself at Paris Fashion Week.
Mhm.
I also had a passion for design and fashion as well too. As you guys can see, I'm always evolving and changing my look. I don't stay the same. So
Good.
that's where I could see myself in the future. Um, and maybe continuing to do this platform. I said I'm gonna do this till I can't do it no more. I've always had the gift of gab. My mom told me that when I was younger that this girl loves to talk. This child loves to talk. So I want to continue to keep doing what I'm doing, which is making an impact and bringing light to people, bringing happiness to people. That's something that I signed up to do. And if I'm doing it, I'm going to continue to keep
Yeah.
doing it.
I guess my last question, okay, so for you would be, what do you do to wind down outside of this, or to fill your cup, to because doing this and you know, doing a lot of things for other people, where we constantly pouring out our cup for others, and it's hard to pour out from an empty cup if there's nothing in there, to fill your cup, to balance yourself back out, to get back to you in order for you to give your best self to the world. What are the things that you do?
Shout out to K2, so I know he's watching. He said, you got to take breaks, self care.
Mm,
So I'm always making sure that I get plenty of rest, making sure that like you, I love to read also. I'm
oh,
always in a book, always
good.
staying informed, doing research, making sure that I stay in tune with who I am, lots of writing,
Mm,
and spending time with family the most. I'm a family person. So I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for family. So that's key things that are crucial to me because I took a couple breaks throughout this week
mhm.
and I came back rejuvenated. It was like I never even left. Everybody was happy to see me and everything.
That's good.
So I feel
Yeah,
great.
yeah,
That's what I do in my time. Just taking time for myself.
yeah. No, that's very important. So I'm glad that you came back rejuvenated 100%. Because
Yeah.
especially the people around you, and same like when you have your friends and you see other people, you don't want to see them less than who they can be. I mean, at times we are less than 100. A lot of times we're less than 100%, but especially when when it's really really low, it's like wait, something's wrong. You need to whatever it is that you're doing, relax. Don't worry about all the stuff, because we speak so much life into others. We need to do that for ourselves too. So I'm glad that you did that, and I'm
Absolutely.
genuinely happy for you that you were able to pour back into yourself.
Yes, because like you said, doing this, whether it's acting, being on set
Hmm.
till 5 a.m. or whatever it is, time you start shooting, it's draining. It literally takes the life out of you. I do this platform 5 days a week,
Yeah.
and there are days when I do not want to get up out of bed.
Oh yeah.
But I make sure I do it because I'm like, I can't let, the supporters down. I can't let them down. I keep going because I love bringing them happiness, and it brings me joy to know that I've had an impact on other people's lives as well too. So
Yeah.
I get up and I do it with so much dignity and grace. I love it. I wouldn't stop. Yeah.
That's good. I'm glad to have met you. I'm glad that you brought me on this platform, and I hope to come back. So thank you so much.
Definitely.
And
Definitely
did I
would love to
miss
have
any
you.
questions from me? I didn't want to make sure I missed it or I glossed over anything.
We got another question for you from Alan Yankee. Before we get into our Women's History Month fact of the day and final thought,
Hmm.
he wants to know what is your method of not adapting personality traits of the characters you portray? Great question, Alan.
Oh yeah. My method to not I just try to get rid of I try not to think about that character. So especially once I'm done with a project, I put the script away. I don't try to think about the script. I just like you said, I just go back to doing the things that I want to do, whether that's me reading a book. Sometimes I walk around my neighborhood because it's a nice, decent neighborhood I stay in, and I stop and I look at the flowers. I listen to the birds. All those things to kind of basically just a hard reset. That's what I try to do. Talking with my friends too is is great because your friends lift you up, but also how your friends will rib you and roast you and stuff like that. It's a good way to keep me not feeling too high about myself or whatever. Not that I ever do that, but I'm glad that I have a support system around me that'll just keep it real with me, keep it honest with me, and will help me get back to myself if I did happen to stray away. Because if I did feel kind of off about something, if I played a role, I can talk to my friends about it, and they can impart some counsel into me of ways that I can get back to me. And like you said, like reading a book, watching TV or whatever, or just being around family and friends, just so I can just be. I just want to be, and it's like when you go to work and you get so caught up in work, you get so caught up in these
So you're
goals,
winning. Right.
right? Right, and you're so, oh, I gotta do this for the company, got to do this, and got to make sure I hit these numbers, and you can kind of lose sight of stuff until you just, okay, is this really important? Is this really going to change the world? Or no, not really. Okay, then it is important, but it's not that important. So what's really important? My sanity, my health, my family and friends. I haven't been spending enough time with them. That stuff will connect you back to who you are. So those are the things that I do to try to make sure that I am me and not who this character is. So.
All right. Fashion dolls. It is time to get into our Woman of the Day for Women's History Month. You guys know that March is International Women's History Month, celebrating us and our contributions to the world. And today's woman I choose to honor is the unapologetic, the fearless, the bold Bessie Smith. Now, singer Bessie Smith's recording career lasted only 10 years, but during that time, she created an art of work that helped shape the sound of the 20th century. Her first single, Downhearted Blues, written by two women, pianist Lovey Austin and blues singer Alberta Hunter, was a major hit in 1923. Now, selling hundreds of thousands of copies and helping her label, Columbia Records, we all know that Some of our biggest singers that we love today, like Mariah Carey, and all of them were signed to Columbia Records. Now, this got her record company out of a financial slump, and she's paved the way for so many of our favorite female pop artists today, such as Lady Gaga, Beyonce, Ciara, and so many others. So today we salute Bessie Smith. Now, the final thought of the day comes from one of the most powerful women, and I admire this woman. She's one of my favorite actresses, Jane Fonda. She says this: the challenge is not to be perfect, it's to be whole. Be you, and you guys know my mantra, be divinely, uniquely in God's creation. You are perfect just the way you are. And there's nothing wrong with changing, trust me. I know this all too well. So there's nothing wrong with transformation. The power of transformation is beautiful. Do what works for you for the better. And that is the final thought of the day, ladies and gentlemen. So we are going to let John close it out. What advice or nuggets would you like to give to up and coming actors? Because you've been doing this for a long time.
Mhm.
And there's so many people that want to be the next John F. Thomas or the next Jonathan Majors or the next Michael B. Jordan. They want to follow in your footsteps. What advice would you give to the next generation of actors and actresses?
Uh, Hone in and just remember your why. It can You can get so lost in the trying to get the accolades and trying to get this and that. And even with social media, I've kind of peeled off on it a little bit just because, you're constantly comparing yourself to other people. But remember the why. Why did you get into this? And typically it's for the love of it. So I try to hone in on the why because I love to do it. I want to tell stories. I want to connect with people. I want to just become a better actor so I can do a better job at telling those stories. And thankfully, from that, I can like live a life and that can help sustain me financially and all these other amazing, wonderful things. But remember the why. Try to stay humble and keep the right people around you. People who will hold you accountable. People who will keep you grounded and also people who will propel and encourage you and push you forward when maybe at times when maybe you're not challenging yourself enough,
Mm.
so it's good to have those and always have somebody around that knows more than you. There's nothing wrong. You don't have to know everything, and it's okay because a lot of us want to know everything. Oh, I want to feel like I know everything, and it's like no, it's fine. You can't learn if you feel like you know everything. So if you have people around you who are smarter than you, who maybe have more money than you, or more success than you, or more whatever, you can learn from them, and they'll be willing to teach you and elevate you up. So um, yeah, thank you, I appreciate it. I'm not to Island Yankee. So
Yes.
that is the interesting compliment for the day. But yeah, so that's my advice. Just try to be and keep yourself as balanced as possible because it's a lot of things that throws your balance off. Just as Stevie and I was talking about, try to be as balanced as possible. Refill your cup. You know, and that's my advice for up and coming actors.
All right, fashion dolls. Make sure you guys stay tuned for Memoirs of a Vixen and Deadly Bonds by Bobby and Renee Peoples, which will be coming out this year pretty soon. So you guys stay tuned. And John, let everyone know where they can follow you and check out some of your projects and work as well too.
You can follow me on Instagram here at JT Slimcutta, SLIMCUTTA. You can follow me at John F. Thomas on Facebook and YouTube. And you can go to johnfthomas.com, which is my website. You can find everything there, basically, where you can follow me wherever you want, Twitter as well. And yeah, I appreciate for those who follow me, for those who are supporting me, for the new people who are following me from here. Thank you so much, and I can't wait to share these stories with you coming forward. And if anybody needs any kind of encouragement, watch my page. I throw those out every once in a while. So I want us all to grow as much as we can. And thank you, Stevie, for just opening up your platform for me to come on and have this time sharing your space. I really appreciate it. And if you don't hear it enough, I appreciate you for that.
Thank you. And you're welcome to come back into the dollhouse anytime. Would love to have you back again in the future. We got to set that
Oh
up.
yeah.
Joining me tomorrow, Fashion Dolls, we have another actor coming. Rodney Hudson the second will be here. So make sure you guys tune in for that. Very special thanks to all of our viewers today, and special thanks to John. Thank you so much for just coming and giving us a few minutes of your time. We definitely got to set something again in the future.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm down. You know where to find me.
All
And I know
right.
where to find you now. So
Definitely.
yeah.
All right, Fashion Dolls, you guys take care, and we will see you tomorrow at 4. Make sure your notifications are set and be on the lookout for the highlight of the interview and some more things coming pretty soon. We love you, and you guys take care. Love you, Fashion Dolls.